Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reaches Berlin on the first leg of his official visit to 3 European nations, gets warm welcome from the Indian diaspora on his arrival. Prime Minister to interact with German business leaders and to address a community program. Statue of Sardar Patel will not only strengthen cultural values but also become a symbol of the relationship between Canada and India, says Prime Minister. Eid-ul-Fitr to be celebrated across the country, including Kerala tomorrow, as the crescent moon was not sighted last evening. Ayush Ministry organizes Yoga Utsav in Assam to mark 50th day countdown to International Day of Yoga. LIC's initial public offering for anchor investors opens from today. ICMR rules out fourth wave of COVID-19 pandemic, says recent rise in cases is confined only to certain geographical regions. IREDA registers historic annual performance in 2021-22 in the midst of COVID pandemic. Profit jumps 83% to all-time high of 634 crore rupees. Centre asks all states and union territories to disseminate guideline document on heat-related illnesses to all districts. Satyajit Ray Film Festival is being organized from today till 4th May in Mumbai to commemorate the birth centenary of the master. And in Santosh Trophy football tournament, West Bengal to take on hosts Kerala in the summit clash at Wayanad Stadium in Manjeri today. In IPL cricket, Kolkata Knight Riders to take on Rajasthan Royals at Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai this evening. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reached Berlin, capital of Germany, on the first leg of his official visit to 3 European nations. Mr. Modi got a warm welcome from the Indian diaspora on his arrival. He met and extolled a young boy for singing an adorable song.
हे जन्मभूमि भारत, हे कर्मभूमि भारत, हे वंदनीय भारत, अभिनंदनीय भारत, जीवन सुमन चढ़ाकर आराधना करेंगे तेरी जन्म जन्म भर हम अर्चना करेंगे, हम वंदना करेंगे। महिमा महान तू है, गौरव निधान तू है, तू प्राण है हमारी जननी समान तू है, तेरे लिए जिएंगे, तेरे लिए मरेंगे.
Mr. Modi also met a young girl who made a painting of his. Later in a tweet, the Prime Minister said it was wonderful connecting with the Indian community and India is proud of the accomplishments of its diaspora. The Prime Minister will be holding talks with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz today. He will also be interacting with business leaders and addressing a community program. Mr. Modi expressed confidence that this visit will boost the friendship between India and Germany. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz will co-chair the 6th edition of the India-Germany Intergovernmental Consultations IGC. The biennial IGC is a unique dialogue format that also sees participation of several ministers from both sides. This will be the Prime Minister's first IGC with Chancellor Scholz and also the first such government-to-government consultations of the new German government which assumed office in December last year. After completing his Germany visit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will then proceed to Copenhagen tomorrow on an official visit at the invitation of Prime Minister of Denmark, Mette Frederiksen. This will be his first visit to Denmark and third summit-level interaction with the Danish Prime Minister. The discussions will focus on bilateral issues as well as issues of global and regional interest. Mr. Modi will also attend an India-Denmark business forum and address members of the Indian diaspora. On the 4th of May, Mr. Modi will participate in the second India-Nordic Summit along with Prime Ministers of Denmark, Iceland, Finland, Sweden and Norway. On the last leg of the tour, the Prime Minister will briefly stop over in Paris and meet French President Emmanuel Macron. The visit to France will provide an opportunity to carry forward the high-level engagement between the two countries post the French presidential elections. Ahead of his visit to 3 European countries, the Prime Minister said in his departure statement that his visit to Europe comes at a time when the region faces many challenges and choices. He said through his engagements, he intends to strengthen the spirit of cooperation with European partners. Mr. Modi also said European partners are important companions in India's quest for peace and prosperity. Prime Minister Narendra Modi yesterday addressed virtually the Sanatan Mandir Cultural Centre in Ontario, Canada, on the occasion of the inauguration of Sardar Patel's statue. He said the statue of Sardar Patel will not only strengthen cultural values but will also become a symbol of the relationship between the two countries.
मैं सनातन मंदिर कल्चरल सेंटर को इस अभिनव प्रयास से जुड़े आप सभी लोगों को बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं। सनातन मंदिर में सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल की ये प्रतिमा न केवल हमारे सांस्कृतिक मूल्यों को मजबूती देगी बल्कि दोनों देशों के संबंधों की प्रतीक भी बनेगी। साथियों, एक भारतीय दुनिया में कहीं भी रहे, कितनी ही पीढ़ियों तक रहे, उसकी भारतीयता, उसकी भारत के प्रति निष्ठा लेश मात्र भी कम नहीं होती। वो भारतीय जिस देश में रहता है पूरी लगन और ईमानदारी से उस देश की भी सेवा करता है।
The Prime Minister said that Indians might live anywhere in the world, but their Indianness and loyalty towards the country never diminishes. Mr. Modi said that Sanatan Mandir in Canada or in any other country enriches the values of that country as well.
In Assam, President Ramnath Kovind will attend the concluding session of the Bodo Sahitya Sabha on Wednesday at Tamalpur district. The 3-day-long 61st session of the Bodo Sahitya Sabha has begun today. Along with Mr. Kovind, several chief ministers of Northeast are likely to attend the session. According to BSS President Thoran Boro, this would be a historic occasion as no president of India has ever attended any literary event of any language in the Northeast region. Over 4,000 delegates are expected to attend the 3-day conference from different parts of the world. A large number of people speaking Bodo language live in Bangladesh, Nepal, Tripura, Nagaland and West Bengal besides Assam. Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency, IREDA, has registered historic and annual performance in 2021-22 in the midst of COVID pandemic. The profit has jumped 83% to an all-time high of 634 crore rupees. The Board of Directors approved the audited financial results for 2021-22 in a meeting held yesterday. They lauded the company's outstanding performance under challenging conditions. The loan disbursement of over 16,000 crore rupees is also the highest in the company's history and a record increase by 82% from the previous year.
The Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR, today said the recent rise in COVID-19 cases cannot be described as the fourth wave of the pandemic. Speaking exclusively to AIR News, Additional Director General in ICMR, Samiran Panda, said the recent data shows surges of cases are at district level which cannot be extrapolated on the entire state and at national level. He said this is called a blip which is confined to certain geographical regions.
The spike that are being observed, they are happening in district, and those surges or increased number of reported cases should be monitored carefully in terms of knowing how does the disease progression go in those particular districts. However, these district level surges cannot be extrapolated over the whole state in which these districts are located. These are smaller surges or blips, but those data do not indicate that there is wave across the state or across the country.
More than 189 crore 23 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said more than 4 lakh doses were administered in the last 24 hours. During the same period, 3,157 new cases were reported in the country. India's active caseload currently stands at 19,500 and it is at 0.05%. The recovery rate is currently at 98.74%. A total of 2,723 people have recovered in the last 24 hours and total recoveries touched over 4 crore 25 lakh 38,000.
Life Insurance Corporation LIC today launched its much-awaited initial public offering IPO for anchor investors. It will be open for general public from Wednesday to 9th of this month. LIC, the country's largest life insurer, is selling over 22.13 crore shares between 902 and 949 rupees per share. Investors can bid for a minimum of 15 equity shares and in multiples of 15 equity shares thereafter. LIC policyholders will get a 60 rupees per share discount and retail employees and anchor investors will get a 45 rupees discount. The IPO will be listed on stock exchanges on the 17th of this month. This IPO will be the biggest in the country till date. The government is looking to divest 3.5% stake of LIC and total IPO value is set at 21,000 crore rupees. Chief of Army Staff General Manoj Pandey today called on Defence Minister Rajnath Singh in New Delhi. This was his first meeting with Mr. Singh after he assumed charge as the new Army Chief. Yesterday, General Manoj Pandey said his foremost priority will be to ensure high standards of operational preparedness to face the current, contemporary and future challenges across the entire spectrum of conflict. He said he will focus on ongoing reforms, restructuring and transformation to enhance the Army's operational and functional efficiency.
Former Petroleum Secretary Tarun Kapoor has been appointed as advisor to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Mr. Kapoor is a 1987 batch Himachal Pradesh cadre officer. Mr. Hari Ranjan Rao and Atish Chandra both have been appointed as additional secretaries in the Prime Minister's office. Mr. Rao is a 94 batch IAS officer of Madhya Pradesh cadre, while Mr. Chandra is 94 batch of Bihar cadre. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has thanked the External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar for accepting the state government's request to facilitate humanitarian aid to Sri Lanka. He has tweeted Dr. Jaishankar's reply letter to him in response to the State Assembly resolution that was passed earlier on the subject. He has remarked that the centre's humane gesture will be greatly welcomed by all and help to improve the warmth and cordiality between the nations. He has wished goodwill to grow in all spheres.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reaches Berlin on the first leg of his official visit to 3 European nations, gets warm welcome from the Indian diaspora on his arrival. Prime Minister to interact with German business leaders and to address a community program. Statue of Sardar Patel will not only strengthen cultural values but also become a symbol of the relationship between Canada and India, says Prime Minister. Eid ul-Fitr to be celebrated across country, including Kerala tomorrow, as crescent moon was not sighted last evening. Ayush Ministry organizes Yog Utsav in Assam to mark 50th day countdown to International Day of Yoga. LIC's initial public offering for anchor investors opens from today. ICMR rules out fourth wave of COVID-19 pandemic, says recent rise in cases is confined only to certain geographical regions. IREDA registers historic annual performance in 2021-22 in the midst of COVID pandemic. Profit jumps 83% to all-time high of 634 crore rupees. Centre asks all states and union territories to disseminate guideline document on heat-related illnesses to all districts. Satyajit Ray Film Festival has been organized from today till 4th of May in Mumbai to commemorate the birth centenary of the Master. And in Santosh Trophy football tournament, West Bengal to take on host Kerala in the summit clash at the Fine Arts Stadium in Manjeri today. And in IPL cricket, Kolkata Knight Riders to take on Rajasthan Royals at Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai this evening. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
कंपटीशन की अगर आप कर रहे हैं तैयारी तो उनके लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पर हम लाए हैं अभ्यास, एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम जिसमें आप पूछेंगे सवाल व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर या फिर ईमेल करेंगे abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर और हमारे विशेषज्ञ देंगे इसका जवाब। इस बार का विषय है पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन। सवाल भेजने की अंतिम तारीख है 4 मई। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
Welcome back to the Midday News. The Centre has asked all states and union territories to disseminate guideline document on heat-related illnesses to all districts for effective management of cases of heat wave. In a letter to Chief Secretaries of States and UTs, Union Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan said seasonal and monthly outlook from India Meteorological Department for March to May this year predicts above normal maximum temperatures over many areas of the country and much higher temperatures in central, western and northern regions. Temperatures have already touched 46 degrees Celsius at some places, and deviation up to 6 degrees Celsius from expected normal temperatures have also been reported. India Meteorological Department has predicted that thunderstorm and gusty winds are very likely over many parts of the country from today. Northwest India may have rain from today till the 4th of May. Over East India and South Peninsular India will be wet till the 6th of May, and Northeast India may receive showers till tomorrow. The department informed that rain will begin from today in Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana and Delhi, including some parts of central India. Talking to AIR News, senior scientist in IMD, R.K. Jenamani, said the temperature will be low due to rain in some parts of central India. He added that there will not be heat wave over major parts of the country in the next 5 days. However, some areas of Rajasthan, Gujarat and central Maharashtra may have nearly 40 degrees temperature. He advised the fishermen of Andaman not to venture into the sea from the 5th of this month.
There is no heat wave condition prevailing over major parts of India, and particularly some pockets like Rajasthan has experienced heat wave yesterday, and so East MP and Vidarbha. And this is also going to further reduce and we will not have a heat wave from today onward over most part of India. And regarding the WD, which has been responsible for reducing the heat wave, it is likely to further move eastward and likely to cause also isolated rain or thunderstorm and even the dust storm over northwest and central India and even west Himalayan state like Jammu Kashmir, AP and Uttarakhand. It will be mainly rain thunderstorm. Then Odisha, GWB, Jharkhand, we are already getting the temperature near normal. So there also we have given the prediction of the Kalvaishaki and also strong wind, particularly for Odisha and GWB for next 3 to 4 days.
The Ayush Ministry celebrated Yog Utsav at the historic Shiv Sagar in Assam today to mark the 50 days countdown to the International Yoga Day. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma, Union Ayush Minister Sarvananda Sonowal and a host of dignitaries took part in the event. Addressing the gathering, Mr. Sonowal said that every ministry is organizing countdown events involving all stakeholders to mark this year's International Yoga Day. Several union and senior ministers of Northeast took part in the event. More from a Guwahati correspondent.
Over 6,000 people took part in the yoga session at the historic Sivadol and other places in Shivsagar district. The 45-minute inspiring yoga session was conducted by the director of the Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga. This program was done today to mark the 50 days countdown to the International Yoga Day, which is considered as the biggest public health initiative. This year, yoga practices are being performed at 75 iconic places in the country and abroad as well by the Ayush Ministry as a part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Shivsagar, which is one of the most important archaeological districts of the country, would also get a facelift in tourism sector through this event. Manas Pratim Sharma, AR News, Guwahati.
Eid ul-Fitr will be celebrated across the country, including Kerala, tomorrow. Today is the last day of the holy fasting month of Ramadan. Eid ul-Fitr is celebrated at the culmination of fasting months. As the Shawwal crescent moon was not sighted yesterday, prominent Qasis in the state of Kerala announced that today will be the last day of the fasting month of Ramadan and Eid will be celebrated tomorrow. Special prayers will be held in Eidgahs as part of the celebrations. The Kerala state government had already declared a holiday today. A holiday has been declared for tomorrow as well. In Gulf countries, Eid has been celebrated today.
And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of this struggle every day.
On
May the 2nd, 1950, the government of India took over the administration of Chandornagar from France. The city, now known as Chandornagar, forms part of the state of West Bengal as per the Chandornagar Merger Act 1954.
Chandornagar was established as a French colony in 1673 when France obtained permission from Ibrahim Khan, the then Nawab of Bengal, to establish a trading post on the right bank of the river Hooghly. Later, it became a permanent French settlement.
In 1756, a war broke out between France and Great Britain, and the British Navy finally captured Chandornagar in 1794. But the city was returned to France in 1816, along with a 3 square miles enclave of surrounding territory. It was governed as part of French India until 1950 under the political control of the Governor-General in Puducherry.
On the 8th of June 1948, the government of the French Republic, in agreement with the Government of India, declared that it intended to leave to the populations of French establishments in India themselves the right to pronounce their future fate and future status. On the 9th of June 1949, the citizens of Chandornagar voted in favor of the merger of the territory with India. Thus, on the 2nd of May 1950, the Government of India took over the administration through the de facto transfer of Chandornagar.
After this, on the 2nd of February 1951, the Treaty of Cession of the territory of the Free Town of Chandornagar was signed in Paris by the representatives of the President of India and the President of the French Republic. After this, on the 9th of June 1952, Chandornagar was transferred de jure to the Union of India.
We commemorate freedom fighter Kadraka Mangra, who died on the 2nd of May 1945, a resident of Koraput, Odisha. Mangra participated in the Quit India movement in 1942 in response to the nationwide call of Mahatma Gandhi. He was arrested by the British police and detained in Nabarangpur sub-jail.
In the jail, he fell severely ill due to the unhygienic living conditions and lack of medical care in the prison. He was shifted to Koraput district jail and later on admitted to the hospital. Kadraka Mangada died in the hospital on the 2nd of May 1945. We salute the great Indian.
We also remember nationalist Santa Singh, who was martyred on the 2nd of May 1925. A resident of Lahore, Santa Singh participated twice in the Shahidi Jathas to Jaito Gurudwara Gangsar Nabha in 1924-25 against the British order prohibiting all prayer assemblies there.
When the Jatha reached the Gurudwara, Wilson Johnston, the administrator of Nabha, ordered the troops to stop the Jatha and arrest its participants. The British-led troops stopped it and arrested a large number of its members. With others, Santa Singh was also arrested and tortured to death on the 2nd of May 1925 in jail. We salute the great martyr.
We also remember Indian National Army Lieutenant Kapoor Singh. A resident of Punjab, he participated in the war against the British troops on the Burmese front. He was killed in action on the 2nd of May 1944. Kapoor Singh was posthumously awarded the medals of Veer-e-Hind and Shatrunash by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. We salute this great son of the soil.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
आजादी के आंदोलन के खजाने में ऐसे ढेरों शब्द जिन्होंने बदल दिए इतिहास। तारीख बदलने वाले लफ्जों पर आकाशवाणी समाचार प्रसारित कर रहा है विशेष कार्यक्रम धरोहर हर सोमवार।
Today is the birth centenary of master filmmaker Satyajit Ray. Born on May 2nd, 1921, Ray is regarded as one of the finest filmmakers the world has ever seen. He created cinematic masterpieces like Pothir Panchali, Charulata and Devi. The filmmaker died at the age of 70 on April 23rd in 1992. The Ministry of Information and Broadcasting has initiated various activities to pay tribute to the legendary filmmaker Satyajit Ray on his birth centenary. A Ray Film Festival is being organized from today till 4th May by the National Museum of Indian Cinema, Mumbai. We have a desk report on the lifetime Oscar winner.
Regarded as one of the greatest filmmakers of all time, master storyteller Satyajit Ray is always remembered for his cinematic genius, directorial excellence and futuristic vision conveyed through his films. Starting his career as a commercial artist, Ray was drawn into filmmaking after meeting French filmmaker Jean Renoir and viewing Vittorio De Sica's Italian neorealist film Bicycle Thieves. Ray's films were known all over the world for their stunning visuals, detailed shots, lighting, music and portrayal of reality without drama. His experimental storytelling style and technical brilliance were appreciated by masters like Akira Kurosawa and Ingmar Bergman. Ray received many major awards in his career, including 36 national awards, a Golden Lion, a Golden Bear, 2 Silver Bears, and an Academy Honorary Award in 1992. The Government of India honored him with the Bharat Ratna in 1992. Ravi Kumar, AIR News, Delhi.
Curtains will be drawn on Khelo India University Games in Bangalore tomorrow. The 10-day games saw some amazing performances and several meet-level records been broken by the budding athletes from various universities. We have this report from our Bangalore correspondent on the highlights.
Siva Sridhar was a star performer, winning 7 gold and 2 silver in the pool. His medal haul is more than that of previous editions' most successful athletes. Another swimmer from Jain University, Srihari Natraj, won gold in the 50-meter freestyle in a time of 23.23 seconds. And Maria, setting a new national record in the 87 kg women weightlifting competition, was the highlight of Khelo India University Games. The gold-winning weightlifter from Mangalore University lifted 129 kg to break Manpreet Kaur's clean and jerk record of 128 kg at the National Championships earlier this year. In the 98 kg senior weightlifting event, Vaishnav Thakur from Savitrabhai Phule University, Pune, lifted 313 kg to win the gold medal. Tokyo Olympian Srihari Natraj, representing swimming, Manu Bhakar in shooting, and Duty Chand in athletics competed in the games. For the second edition of Khelo India University Games, over 4,000 sportspersons from over 200 universities took part in 20 disciplines. Vichit Indra from Bengaluru, Aarti Rana, AIR News.
In the 75th Santosh Trophy National Football Tournament, 32-time champions West Bengal will take on host Kerala in the Summit Clash at Payanath Stadium in Manjeri today. The match will begin at 8 p.m. In IPL cricket, Kolkata Knight Riders will lock horns with Rajasthan Royals at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai today at 7:30 p.m.
World Tuna Day is being observed today. The day is aimed at promoting the importance of sustainable fishing practices and educating people on how tuna has become an endangered species due to the high demand. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reaches Berlin on the first leg of his official visit to 3 European nations, gets warm welcome from the Indian diaspora on his arrival. Prime Minister to interact with German business leaders and to address a community program. Statue of Sardar Patel will not only strengthen cultural values but also become a symbol of the relationship between Canada and India, says Prime Minister. Eid-ul-Fitr to be celebrated across the country, including Kerala, tomorrow, as the crescent moon was not sighted last evening. Ayush Ministry organizes Yoga Utsav in Assam to mark 50th day countdown to International Day of Yoga. LIC's initial public offering for anchor investors opens from today. ICMR rules out 4th wave of COVID-19 pandemic, says recent rise in cases is confined only to certain geographical regions. IREDA registers historic annual performance in 2021-22 in the midst of COVID pandemic. Profit jumps 83% to all-time high of 634 crore rupees. Centre asks all states and union territories to disseminate guideline document on heat-related illnesses to all districts. Satyajit Ray Film Festival being organized from today till 4th May in Mumbai to commemorate the birth centenary of the Master. And with that we end the midday news.